Hey guys, and welcome. Today we go back into Season of the Plunder with more story details being shared with us. As of last week we learned that Eramis was freed by the Witness from her icy prison and is attempting again to harness the power of the darkness to emit revenge against the Great Machine, aka the Traveller. To do this, she is searching for a series of relics across the Soul. Last week we found and captured one of these relics and Eido was tasked with studying it until this week. This week though, we find out more around the relic that was being studied and more progress around the story as well. Check out last week's video if you haven't already to ensure you're up to date with all of the latest points, but without further ado, let's dive straight in. Eido completed her research around the artifact that we captured towards the tail end of last week, and she said that she's made some very interesting findings. The artifact in question emanates pure darkness power, and is an object pulled from pure Eliksni legend. These were artifacts that the Eliksni told stories about back on planet Risk before the whirlwind occurred. Stories around the power that these artifacts withheld, and that can grant to any being on the planet Risk, and essentially end all of their struggles. Many old Eliksni crews that attempted to find these relics fought and died trying to possess them, thinking that they could use the power of these relics for their own good, or pretty much do exactly what Eramis is trying to do right now. It's also mentioned in there that this is the power that the Traveller essentially withheld. Now if Eramis obtains the power within these relics and these artifacts, all will fall to corruption. It poses a huge threat against the Traveller, the Eliksni kind, and ultimately will play very nicely into the Witness's hands, as this is the reason he released Eramis from her icy prison, to essentially do as much damage to the Traveller, the Vanguard and all of their allies as well, the Fallen, Mithrax, Spider, even Eido and other factions as well.
Guardian, I greet you in the light, and yet I feel adrift in shadow. Eido and I studied the artifact you claimed from the pirates, and it emanates pure darkness. It is an object pulled from Eliksni legend, and I fear it is not the only one of its kind. The old crews fought and died for these relics, believing they could bestow power. The very power the Great Machine withheld. That is why Eramis enlisted their help. She seeks the relics, and pirate legends hint at where they may be hidden. And if her task is at the command of the Witness, Eramis cannot be allowed to claim the powers within. If she does, all will fall to corruption. You must find them. You must.
So now we move on and complete a new extraction mission, where we hear about the status of Osiris. So this is a bit of interesting dialogue for those that are wondering where he is and what the status of him is.
Heard you were in the Cosmodrome. It appears you've had a successful operation.
We have. When our mission concludes, I will call upon yourself and Osiris again. How is he?
Osiris is still not well. But I have a feeling he can sense what goes on around him. It would comfort him to hear you.
We will do what we can to aid his recovery. Until we return, my friend.
Now once completed we move back over to the helm and we infiltrate a new pirate hideout that's owned by Icarus the Sharpshooter. Icarus has one of these artifacts again that she's guarding, so we have to go in there, infiltrate it and essentially take her out and steal this artifact.
Good job, Guardian. You too, little sister. Read about this in one of your books?
No, I didn't. Isn't that exciting?
Eido, what are you doing?
Aiding Drifter and the Guardian. We have collected another relic before it was able to come into Eramis possession.
Your help is needed in studying the relics, not in our search for them.
If I can render assistance, then I should do so.
Let us speak privately.
Very well.
Huh. Glad I stayed out of that. Anyway, good job. Let's get this treasure tucked away.
Once defeated, we then go back to the last city, and Spider and Mithrax speak together around the artifacts that we've captured and the one that we've just captured from Icarus. This conversation is really interesting actually, and if you look a bit deeper into the lore, you can really understand the reason why there's so much tension there. Spider tries to test Mithrax in some way or other. Spider's testing the waters with Mithrax to see how far he would go, and essentially to try and see if they could harness this power and essentially just make Eramis jealous of them having the power, the thing that she is trying to get for the Witness, making her ultimately look bad, making the Witness believe that she's not a worthy candidate of becoming something such as a disciple of the Witness, for example. But Mithrax was really not happy with Spider after this first communication. After everything that Mithrax has gone through in the past and everything that he's gone through with Eramis, he does not want to have to worry about Spider trying to steal this power for himself or potentially him becoming corrupt because of it. Mithrax is extremely loyal to the Great Machine or the Traveller, so this is completely against what he wants to do. Mithrax leaves this room raging with anger, with Spider left perplexed.
Mithrax, my old friend. There's a matter I wish to discuss with you. My people's concerns are my own. I will listen. I hoped you'd say that. Rumor has it your new crew has been bringing back delightful baubles, pulled from the old shores. Are you asking for a share? Oh. Do you think me so petty? We're on the same side here. We have our eyes on the same horizon. Those relics resurfaced for a reason. The power belongs to us. We could have everything this time. We need only take it. Your words are careless. What? The Guardian? Huh. A trusted accomplice. No. I did not imagine you would speak like that where I might hear you. Come now, Mithrax. I know you. Think of your house. Think of your daughter. We could have everything Eramis wants. Wouldn't that be some lovely payback? Huh? You will leave that behavior in the past. You will not speak of it here beneath the Great Machine, or I will silence you. There's no call for that. Do you hear me, Rakis? I hear you. Never summon me like this again. Get out. We're closed.
After this dialogue between Mithrax and Spider, we then go over to one of the holograms and we listen to a bit of communication from Drifter. Essentially, Drifter goes into detail and says that Eido is still trying to tap into the power of these relics, that there's potentially something hidden within them. Now, we didn't get a lot of detail around this, to be honest, and this is all that we really got. But there was also some really interesting dialogue from Drifter on the tail end of this, which will hint at something big coming next week. Drifter looked at the relics and said that they look like they are very bad news. However, they also look like something that he's seen before from a very long time ago. What is that thing? Well, we don't know just yet. Drifter's going to go away and do a bit of research of his own, and maybe next week we'll have a bit more information around what these artifacts actually are, the meaning of them, and potentially where they've came from in the past. Maybe we get a really cool cinematic cutscene to go along with that.
boom. Ah, hey there, hero. Sorry, getting a little swept up in all this adventuring. I'm on debrief duty, while your Eliksni buddies are busy with the relics you got from Eramis' crew. Eido's researching how to tap into their power. The kid's thorough, I'll give her that. She thinks something's hidden inside him. I swear she was about to crack one open before Mithrax stopped her. Now me? I took one look and knew those things were bad news. Gave me a little shiver. Reminds me of something. From a long time ago. Huh. Maybe I should do a little research of my own.
Now, this may be a very small thing, but I did want to put it in here just in case anyone did think of anything for this. We do go to collect our reward from Spider at the end of this, and in my case, I got nothing. But an interesting point wasn't just the loot, it was the bit of text at the bottom of the screen, and it reads as follows. Guardian, Eido says, I've just detected another brief interference spike from your coordinates in the ether tank. Is everything alright? You assure her that everything's fine. How interesting, she says. Apologies for the interruption, and then she terminates the call. It's definitely interesting, something to keep an eye on. Maybe nothing, but I wanted to add it in here anyway. There's always that ending week dialogue as well between two characters that we do hear towards the tail end of a story on a given week. And in this case, it was Eido and Spider. Eido wanted to ask Spider a question or two around her father Mithrax. She wanted to know more around the house in which they were both originated from, and more around her father's past, because her father is a very closed book to her in terms of what happened previously. Eido doesn't really know anything around her father's past, so maybe throughout the story we learn more around these artifacts, along with Eido learning more around her father. Now, depending if this is good or bad, then this could go two ways. One, it could be a case of her just being disappointed but then brought back up by her father and, said that this is what he had to do and things like that. Or it could be a case where she completely resents him for a short while and tries to do something stupid like pair with Eramis or give her the artifacts or whatever it might be. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it's just something to think about.
Baron Spider, I greet you in the light.
Baron? I haven't heard that in some time. What is it you want, Scribe Eido?
I have heard that you have a great interest in human cultures, and as such have acquired many curiosities.
Yes. I had quite the collection before my unfortunate relocation. But this isn't why you hailed me. Get to the point.
I have a question.
Of course you do.
You and my father came from the House of Wolves, once known as the House of Gentle Weavers. I have very little record of that time. A first-hand account would be invaluable.
Kel wouldn't like my speaking to you.
Mithrax Kel would understand. This is important to the history of House Light, of which you are a part.
You don't know what your father is capable of, little scribe.
What does that mean?
This conversation never happened.
That went rather poorly.
We then go back to the helm and place the relic on the artifact table, and we're listening to some very, very interesting dialogue between Eramis and Eido. Eramis essentially tries to undermine Eido, telling her that she is no longer just branded the ship stealer, and that she's now a Kel, and Eido's obedience is essentially her underlying right. It also sounds like Eramis has been in contact with Eido already in the past, which gets me a little concerned for the future of this as well, going hand in hand with her learning about her father's past, along with Eramis already having direct contact with her. Take it as you will, but let me know your thoughts and opinions down below around that. She then says this: hand me the artifact or face a wrath of power that can't even imagine. Eido believes Eramis is referring to the witness within this sentence as opposed to the power of the relics in particular. So this further tells you that Eramis is in fact working directly with the witness as well, and they have pretty much regular contact between one another in terms of trying to obtain these artifacts, and I cannot wait to see where the story goes after this.
Your last raid yielded a surprising fragment of intel. This was found in the pirate hideout, along with the relic.
You forget your place, Erix. I am
the ship stealer. I am a Kel, and your obedience is my right. Deliver the relic as agreed, and I will overlook your attempts to extort me. Do it, or face the wrath of a power you cannot imagine. I believe Eramis Kel references the Witness. Perhaps she really has abandoned her calls for Eliksni unity.
But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. There will be weekly videos going into the detail up to date around the story from now until the end of the season. So make sure you are subscribed to stick around and get updates every single week. But don't forget to rate the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new. And we'll see you all in the next video.